in Uganda we have used to farming or doing business anyhow, thinking you'll make money even when you are not there. But you need to have time for your business. In this case, that's the farm. So give it time. Try to understand each and every aspect of your farm. Learn from various farmers, other farmers, and also read. And by reading, you're exposing yourself. By visiting other farmers, you're learning from them. But above all, the most important thing is to create time and passion for your enterprise. And that's what I saw. These guys will wake up very early, go to their animals, do every checks, do all this, make sure the feeds are there. And they have less labor. So they're dealing with machines. So in other words, they're the very people who are feeding their animals themselves, as opposed to relying on others to feed their animals. So they really understand the enterprise much more than we do. So that's what I learned, and that's what I think our farmers should do. Of course, we live in different economic setups. The economy is different from ours. It allows more of specialization. Here it doesn't. But try as much as possible. Let the farmer try as much as possible to dedicate as much time as possible and also understand the enterprise as much as possible. Learn from the challenges they have other than running away from the challenges. So to avert that, we decided to grow our own fodder, those that are high in nitrogen. So initially we did the alfalfa, but it really was so demanding and didn't do well. So we decided to replace it with desmodium. And because it's a small plot for the number of cows we are looking at, we decided to go irrigation. Otherwise, such that we can get more production from a small plot of land as opposed to having a larger area that will, and as you see, we have a challenge of land. So we didn't want to have a larger area dedicated to growing that supplemental fodder. We wanted just to have a small land which we can always have a higher productivity from it. But to answer your question directly, maybe yes. Why? Because we were exposed to vast areas under greenhouses, growing all different kind of crops. So, and all year round. Whereas I cannot grow this fodder under the greenhouse system, it would be too expensive for me. So the only cheapest thing I could get was to do it under irrigation so that I can push up my productivity. We've brought in, yes, the thing that changed the game here was the baler. The baler has changed our farming system here, and we are so fine with the machine, to the extent that we have enough feeds, and at the same time we have even started selling hay as far as Kampala. Yesterday a truck was here and it took about 300 bales of hay. The other day, someone from Nakaseke came in here and took about 300 bales of hay. We've sold around our neighbors. We still have enough. We still have enough to sell. So that has changed our game. We also brought in the choppers, silage choppers, that really are doing a wonderful job. Before we brought in these machines, for example, the silage baler, our cost of making silage was around 50-75 shillings per kg. But as we speak, we are pushing towards a cost of about 25 shillings per kg. And we still think we have room to reduce that cost. And by reducing the cost of production, we're also looking at reducing the cost of feeding these animals versus their production, and also increasing our profitability. And maybe not forgetting, we also got a chance after that. We approached the SNV, which is also a Netherlands-funded organization, and they managed to give us a facility about 20 from the equipment we were buying, especially the tractor, the second tractor, which we put in 75%, and they gave us the 25%. We thank them for that facility, and it pushed us to acquire the tractor. With those two tractors, one does the slashing and baling, the other does the transportation. So you kind of reduce on your costs. We have other enterprises here. One of the second main to dairy, the main enterprise here is dairy. The second to dairy is the banana plantation, the banana growing. That enterprise helps us to clean the farm. Whatever wastes we have here, we take them to the banana plantation. In the west side of the cow dung, because with time this structure gets full. So we have to clean it up or flood the dung, and we take it to the plantation. But also when we feed, some of the wasted feed remains, and then we take it to the plantation as mulch. It acts as a mulch. At the same time, when it decomposes, it becomes manure for the plantation. That's the second major enterprise to dairy. We also put on 2 other smaller enterprises, actually 3 smaller enterprises, on a trial basis. One was the local chicken enterprise, which you'll see up. Second one is the goat under zero grazing, and also we had sheep. But recently we realized that sheep, yes, it multiplies very well, does very well under zero grazing, but the challenge is market. No one wants to identify themselves in eating sheep, but we never know, we don't know where it goes because people still buy them. But they actually buy without, it's like they are squeezing you because they know you have nowhere to sell. So we decided now to sell off the sheep, and then now we're concentrating on the goats. We're going to expand that enterprise. We need about 200 goats under zero grazing, and we've done this structures. So we'll put the goats there, and then put on. Now we also go concentrating on the local chicken business, because the trend is changing from the exotics to the local, the preferences, the market preferences. So even the goats, we are not being pushed into the exotics. We are doing our local goats, but also concentrating on feeding and the management and feeding. And then the local poultry also, we are looking at limited a few eggs, but also selling for meat. So those are the three other enterprises apart from. Yes, what we were doing before, we continue doing it. That's by using artificial insemination. We concentrated on doing AI, and the results speak volumes. But also going a step further. At that time, we were relying heavily on the inseminator to do the breed selection. But we've also realized that the inseminator is not giving us the whole truth. So we are now going a step further. We've contacted guys from Genex. It's an American company that brings in semen here locally. We have contacted them, and we are interested in them supplying us very good genetics, and also moving from the conventional semen to the sexed semen. By doing that, to achieve that, we are actually going to invest in a semen flask, actually 2 semen flasks. Good thing the government set up another liquid nitrogen plant in Mbarara at Naru, so that we don't anticipate any shortage of nitrogen, liquid nitrogen. So we are soon, within about a month or 2, we are buying those semen flasks. So we store the semen here. The other flask helps us to bring in liquid nitrogen. So the inseminator only comes in to pick our straw, not for him to use his own straw. And we hope that this is going to take us much higher, much further. Because at one time, the first inseminator we had, from about a insemination success rate of about 90%, we all of a sudden went to about 10%. Then we were wondering, and the man came up with all sorts of ideas. So the cows are not receiving sunshine, all sorts of things, excuses. Then later on, we learned that there was a scarcity of liquid nitrogen in the region, and probably the straws could have gone bad. But the inseminator didn't want to lose business. So he went in to give us the dead straws. So we changed him and then brought in a second one. But still, because we pay for the straw after insemination, we don't have an input in selection. So yes, we've gotten results, but those are not the ones we want. Now we want top quality semen so that we get quality heifers that are going to replace the milking herd at present. And we're moving from conventional to sexed semen, because we need, the higher the number of heifers produced here, the better for this farm. For me, I think the future is bright for this farm. I'm still very convinced. I've done farming, but I think the best enterprise in agriculture is dairy farming, because you will struggle and make a break even with your milk production. You may not make a lot of money from the milk itself, But this cow is producing every year. You are doubling your stock. And you won't keep stock, you won't keep increasing stock forever. So you keep offloading some of the excess stock. So you find with, when we had about 100 animals, every year we're selling almost not less than 30 animals. The rest I'll leave it to you. The math I'll leave it to you. So there's a reason why we are keenly investing in this. And I've tried as much as possible to interest my family, my wife and my children, especially the children. My wife is a bit, she came from a non-farming family. She may not really take up the enterprise as good as those who are born into it. So I'm trying to, as much as possible, to invest in the children, to bring the children to run this enterprise here, so that maybe when I'm unable to run it, they can, one or two of them can take up this.
And then fall out. What is about that?
The issue of falling out is people come with a lot of expectations into farming. One is that this country is used quick money. And to me as a person, I don't think quick money is the solution. We're seeing quick money because of so many things, corruption inclusive. There's no country that develops steady progress and development with quick money laundering. Good money or good return on investment must come from hard work. So if you are coming into agriculture and you think you are going to solve all your problems in the just 1, 2, 3 years in agriculture, please don't come. So the programs are for those who are actually keenly interested in doing agriculture, farming. But if you are just there doing your work and earning on easy money, don't expect that money in agriculture. We are not making that huge money. No. We are sacrificing a lot. We don't have time for luxuries. Probably I don't have time to run around clubbing and doing other things or socializing, because most of the time is dedicated to my enterprises. But mark you, if you are working somewhere and you're getting your easy money 2-3 million a month, and I'm getting my 600,000, let's say it's an example, and you lose a job and maybe my milk is also not selling, me and you is going to suffer. For me who is grounded in agriculture, I'll continue living a very nice and fulfilling life without any stress. An example is when there was a lockdown, my family came here. We never had any issues. Matoke was selling very little, very cheaply at 2,000 shillings a bunch, down from 10,000, but we still had money. My children never lacked anything. I myself wasn't stressed. But the families that were locked down in Kampala, we know the stories. So please, we're not saying that New Vision tells these stories or any other media tells these stories to mislead farmers who go into. No, don't come in agriculture expecting quick returns. Come in with a passion, invest diligently, learn the enterprise yourself, don't delegate to other people. You will not regret.